Good morning, guys. Today I'm doing a one tank at a time. I'm starting here at the store to do some shopping because I want to take you through the whole process. You know, I envision you guys are doing this the same way. You're at a store going, how am I going to put this together? So I'm going to set up the Endler Livebear Blue Silverado breeding tank. So I'm looking for cover, I'm looking for plants, I'm looking for what am I going to do here. And, we're shopping around, so I want cover. I want it to be easy to grow. I don't want to have to inject a whole bunch of CO2 or anything like that. Maybe some water sprite would be good. I could do that. I could do Vallisneria here. I think I'm going to do some Crypts. I like Cryptspiralis, so maybe I'll grab like one of those. I'll do this is a Pogostemon stellatus octopus. And so I've got those plants, so that's two, and then I want something that's going to really fill in. I'm going to do one of these dwarf Sagittarias. So I'm going to do it with, not that many plants, and I feel like, so in the blue Silverado tank, I've also got a pair of strawberry bettas, and I want to breed those in the same tank, do double duty on those, and so really I should put in some decor for them to hide, because they're a mouth brooder, they're going to want to hide out and things like that. So I'm thinking maybe I grab one of these Epistocaves, and maybe I grab a couple of these coconut huts, and I'm thinking between these, if I kind of put them in a basket over here, I'm thinking between these three, that's going to offer enough hides. And then I'm going to need some super glue because I want to put plants on these. So let me find that, which we've got right over here, super glue gel. I'm gonna take some of that, and what else? So now I've decided that I want plants on I'm deciding I want plants on them because I could have just normal caves, but really I think I want them to be planted. So I'll probably go with some Anubias nana, something like these guys right here, and so I'm going to grab, I guess, 3 of those, and I'll plant one on each one. That'll give me the cave structure I'm looking for. So yeah, I've got my high plants, give growth up top. I've got my low plants, and what was the last one? Oh yeah, another stem plant, so another tall plant. And to keep all those growing, let's see here, I'd use Easy Green. So if you were putting this tank together or copying what I did, you'd use Easy Green right here, and I would just dose that once or twice a week, depending on how much is needed. At the beginning, probably once, maybe in 3 months or so, I'm upping that to twice a week. But I'm going to grab those plants that I mentioned and then head back to the fish room and start planting. Alright, so here we've got the Endler Blue Silverado tank with the bettas in there. You can see there's a piece of PVC pipe, there's one little plant, you can see the fish are kind of darty. We're going to try and solve that today. So I'm going to get the camera set up, we're going to get some plants out, I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to do it, and hopefully it'll come out with a decent look. So first things first here, I want to remove what I don't want in the tank, so that way I've got a blank slate to play with. So we're going to remove this plant, which was just some African fern, some bulbitis. I'm going to put that into another tank for now. And we're going to remove this piece of PVC pipe, which the male is going to be sad about, but he's going to get a better home here in a minute. Put that down low. So now I've got my blank canvas, really. And we're going to play with the substrate a little bit. This is just some medium sand, really. I'm kicking up stuff. It's going to look terrible while we do it, but we are planting. I've got crushed coral mixed in to keep it harder for the live bears. I always recommend that unless your water's already crazy hard. So I like to start from the back to the front. Now, we only purchased 2 kind of rear or background plants, and that was the Crypt and the Pogostemon stellatus octopus. Now, the middle ground, we'll get to that in a second, but the middle ground is the dwarf Sagittarius. So here we've got Crypspiralis, nice and long, and it's already got some runners or some new plants on the outside of the plant or the pot here. So I'm going to kind of break that one free as gently as possible. Oftentimes people ask me like, it's going to break, what do you got to do? You just got to break it, you got to get it out of there. So, you know, you heard that snap, we're going to pull it, we're going to get some roots loose. So that's one plant. Float that in there. Now we got to get, so there's a lot of roots here, we got to get this main one out of the pot. And we can do that. See, it doesn't want to give it up, but we got to get it out of there. So you just got to pull it through. Struggle, 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 break the roots, you know. There we go. You heard that rip? That was the roots ripping out. And, you know, sometimes that's all you can do. Good root system, that's what you want. So, removing the rock wool as much as possible here. You know, not going to spend all day on it, but don't want to leave a bunch in either. So now we've got our Crypspiralis. We've got 2 of them in there. I'm just going to put one kind of back in a corner here. And really, if I was planting more, I'd have more substrate, but that'll do. And then I'm going to hit another one kind of right here or so. I'm going to build up some substrate on it. I can always add more substrate later. So now we've got our 2 Crypspiralises in there. Not bad. We've got some life, but let's keep going. I also got the octopus plant. This is really going to fill in and make it so that the babies and stuff like that can hide. Let me just get the right plant here. There we go. So here's the Pogostemon stellatus octopus. This one, roots aren't nearly as big, so it's going to be easier to get out of the pot. And we're just going to undo it, and you're going to see stems are in here. We're going to plant all the stems. It's got a few roots, and so a plant like this, the way you propagate it, you just cut it, and wherever you cut it, you'll be able to put the stem down in it, and you'll make a new plant. And so that's what's been done. They just took the top of the plant off, and they just snip and put it in the gravel, and it'll grow roots from wherever it was cut. So we'll just keep floating our stems here. There's just one pot of this, just like we only did one pot of the Crypspiralis. So there we go. We've got all those. We're floating around. Now we've got to plant these guys. We're just gonna roll your sleeve up and start putting the stem down in there, and they'll take off once they establish their root system again. And you just keep, you want to space them at least an inch away from each other. You know, you can do a couple of inches. You just don't want them to shade each other as they're growing, because if they grow, or I shouldn't say if, I should say when they grow, you don't want them to totally just dwarf each other out and then it not do so well. So, is that all the floating pieces? Yeah, just like that, we now have another corner kind of filled in, so we're working on it. Now we're going to do our mid-ground, and our mid-ground was the dwarf Sagittarii I chose. This plant is going to spread throughout the whole tank, and it can get really tall. It can also stay short. It depends on how much light you put on it. Now, I'm not putting that much light. I'm using a Stingray light, which is, you know, a lower end intensity, but I also don't want this to be high maintenance. So same thing, taking it out of the pot. Here's the plant, and I use 2 pots because there's not a lot of plants here, but we're going to float them again, get them in there. And you can see some of the yellow leaves on this. Those were the ones that were grown out of water, and they're melting back as the new ones grow in water. So once again, we just kind of bury it a little bit, and we'll kind of pull these apart, make more plants. So here's another one. And you want the crown of the plant, or the top of the plant, basically right where it separates from roots to plant. You want that part to make sure it stays on top of the gravel. Now I broke loose one of these plants. I can just reach back in here, replant it. You might get a couple of those that do that. while you're planting or the next day. Looks like that's one whole plant. We'll plant that more in the middle again. Then we're going to grab the next one. We're just going to do that same thing. So you kind of pull the tag out. I was able to pull this one right out, so that worked. And you've got all these fresh roots here. Kind of get it in the water and see how many plants you got. Looks like this one was like 5 or 6, so this was a much better, fuller pot. And I know I'm planting some of it up front, but we just want it to fill in. This thing, we want it to be a nice lush jungle so that we'll be able to breed these fish. And you know, just a 20-gallon tank. It's gonna be real easy. We're just gonna go over here, put some more in. And they've been feeding on this Repashy food. That's what the block of food is up in the front. So if you're wondering why does it keep, you know, kicking that thing around, it's just food. That's all it is. And looks like we got 2 more to do of these, 3 more to do. Okay. And you know, really all you need is like one of these to take, and we'll have a full tank full of them eventually. All right. So I believe that. Oh no, I got one more. One more of these guys. Put it in the back here. See how it does. This one barely has any roots at all. Alright, so next we've got those caves that I wanted to put in here, okay? So we've got 2 coconut caves, and in theory, yep, right there. And we've got the little terracotta cave. So I suggest cleaning up your mess kind of as you go here. I'm going to do that real quick. That way you don't knock it on the ground or something like that. Alright, so for the next part, we're basically going to take one of the Anubias Nana Petites that we bought. So I'm going to get one of those prepped right now. And that's what this is. It's kind of, I can pull it out of the pot. And we've got some roots. So we've got this little plant right here, and we've got these roots, and I just want to put this rhizome, I want to glue it to something. So I'm going to get some super glue here. And I've got a video on how to do this in case you don't know how. You just go and go on my channel and type in super glue gel and Anubias. So now I've got super glue. Here's all I got to do. You take the coconut hut, and I'm gonna get it to grow across it, so I'm just gonna put a bead of super glue gel, just like that. So there's a little bit, just right here. And then I'm gonna take this rhizome, and we're just gonna stick it there. And so you just grab it, and stick it, and hold it. That's all you gotta do, and then you just let it dry, You put it on a ton of glue, it takes a long time to dry, and I've heard that if you put it in water, it dries really fast, so let's try it. It did seem to dry very quickly, so we're just gonna put a cave right into here. So now that's a nice hide, and plants are gonna grow on it for the not apistos, the bettas. So we're gonna do the same thing again. Just put a dollop of glue, and smear it around a little bit. And this is the super glue gel. The gel is not watery, and so that way you can actually attach a plant to it. Now I got the glue out before I got the plant out, so make sure you work fast. But we got the next one right here. We're gonna open it up. Got our little Anubias Nana Petite, and the Anubias Nana Petite stays real small. That's a good thing for most people, especially in a tank where we want it to stay small. And let's say you've got too long of roots. Not that these are too long. Let's say you didn't want them that long. You could just break them off. You can just break. And now you might have an easier time planting. Get it reasonably dry here, You don't want it to be super wet. You don't want it to be super dry. Then just go ahead and put it right on there. And you kind of just hold it on. And hopefully I got enough glue on there. Let me put a little more glue. And by little, I put a lot more on there, and I want to see if this water method works again. The water, like, supposedly just makes it cure instantly. Well, let's put another cave kind of right here. Try not to put it on your plants. There we go. And so when I'm setting up this cave, I actually want it to face away from the other cave. So that way if one is hiding in one, they don't have to look at each other. That's a good trick, you know, if you're ever breeding anything like a pistos or any cichlid or anything that's got aggression, face them away from each other so they're not looking at each other the whole time. So then I'm going to grab the last one here and got to get it out of the pot. Here we go. Ooh, this one came with two, so you know, a little bit of a bonus. We'll attach two to this one, and once again, got kind of longish roots. I can just pinch those off if I want. In theory, there we go. And then over here, this one's pretty darn long. Kick those off. And there's a sticker on the bottom of this case, so we want to pull that off. We're almost there. A couple of dollops of glue here. We're going to attach both of our plants. There's one. And there's two. And if you attach them, they're kind of sideways, they'll right themselves as they grow. So, you know, we're going to get this in water here. Let all the air out. And then we're going to put this one kind of in the back, in the center of all these. We're going to face it away also. So now we've got, let me grab the camera here. So now we've got a reasonable habitat. Now, obviously, this is not a show tank yet. We need stuff to grow in. The plants in the back can grow to the top of the tank. These plants will grow and spread. All these middle plants are going to grow and spread. Those are going to get covered by the Anubias, all our caves that we made, and with time, this will grow in. Now I just got to put in a couple of squirts of Easy Green and give it time and feed it, and the fish will thrive and breed. This water will clear up in about a couple hours, you know, with the sponge filter going. Eventually you'll never see the sponge filter again, and this is, in my opinion, a great use of a 20-gallon tank if you want to enjoy a jungle, if you want to breed something, if you know, this is a great breeding for profit kind of setup, and get your feet wet with some plants. Very easy, just some Easy Green, a decent light. So one tank at a time, blue Silverado Endlers, and some mouth brooding bettas. What's not to like? So if you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and like it. Watch my other one tank at a time videos, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.